What is up guys, Wraec with a new video, and today I want to give you guys a guide on the Winter Revelry event. I had the opportunity to play this event quite ahead of the global release on the VN server, and so I was able to collect some nice tips and tricks for you guys that will make it way easier for you to get all the loot within this event, even if you are on a bit of a weaker account, because right now we are on a bit of a weaker account. Maybe we take a look at it. Not really insane by any means, just a few heroes on there. Still, it will not be an issue on this account to get all of the loot in here. Main thing, we have three components to this. First of all, a story quest. This story quest is not completely unlocked of the first day of the event. In fact, there is a new story quest step basically every single day, and I would recommend that you complete this step every single day, because at the end of every step you get yourself a reward from the special quest, and on the last day this is, for example, a legendary card. And your goal in this event is to collect all the cards that you can. There are a total of 80 cards, and they will unlock all of the loot we have in this side of the event. And from the quest you will get all of this loot, which includes the Wintertide Cloak cosmetic, a very nice cloak, and also some velvet vouchers, which we always need. Coming over to the cards are really not only something that you collect, but also that you can use. They are kind of artifact extensions, we could say, for the PvP mode that we have in this event called Deck Duel. And I will give you some very good tips for this Deck Duel game mode that will help you to complete this, even if your hero list is a bit on the lackluster side, like on this account. You have to collect all 80 cards in this event. They are separated into 5 different rarities, and your goal basically is to work yourself from rarity to rarity by collecting all cards of one rarity, which will upgrade your daily quest. You can see my daily quest level at the moment is epic. The reason for that is that I have collected all of the cards of the elite category, and this will upgrade it to epic. So now I can work on my epic cards, which I get now as a reward from my daily quest. So basically, by collecting all rarities of one area, you upgrade your daily quest, and on the next day you can start collecting the cards of the next rarity. So, for example, I've now claimed my AFK rewards, which gives me the daily quest completion we see right here. And my loot, we also see we got one new card, Mirror Flames, at the epic rarity, and so I'm one card closer now to completing my collection of my epic cards. And basically you can already see the special quest and the daily quest are your key to completing your collection. First of all, we have the quests right here that include a random epic album. This will give you a random card from the epic rarity. You also have the chests right here, which are not completely translated, at least on this version. We are still on the VN server after all. Those chests you can open from your inventory, and they will give you a card that you can select. Usually I just go for the random cards first, and then I select the chest to try to complete my collection, and thereby just immediately getting the cards that I definitely want. So we can now collect this, which gives us another 2 cards. We got one new one, we got sadly one duplicate, but that's not a problem, that's not bad. And we can also collect our chest. This stays there for a second. And you can see, not there in the special quests, how some quests are unlocked a little bit later, and they are always associated with the next rarity. So not only will we get some more cards there, in 5 hours in fact we'll get a ton of cards, 3 more chests, which will easily elevate us to the next rarity. If we choose to wait, we can also try to complete it now. I usually try to do my daily quest every single day, but those include winning in Deck Duel. And this might seem like a very difficult task to many of you if you are a little bit on the weaker side. There's one saving grace in this though, and this is this small badge. This small badge, in fact, tells you that your heroes will be upgraded to Supreme tier with exclusive equipment at level 5, so at +5. So what I usually do, and we can just go into the versus mode maybe, and then I'll explain a little bit more about how this Deck Duel mode works and how it is a little bit special. So we get a random opponent matched, and the opponents will always have heroes at Supreme Plus. That is one of the rules of this. And you can see how I now, for example, have a Supreme Diana. In fact, I only have one single copy of Diana. The thing is, my copy of Diana, where I only have a single copy, I got this from the hero event, where you just get all of the heroes in the game once. And now all of those heroes I got there are upgraded to Supreme. So while my account was pretty lackluster, I now have an insane hero collection at my disposal. I have a Sonya, I have my Odie there, I have a Tazi, I have a Fresto as well, I have my Iron even. I can build just an Iron comp if I wanted to. And so you have a ton of heroes at your disposal that you can easily use. And then we have the dual resonance. And this is somewhat like your artifact. You cannot use regular artifacts in this game mode, but you can use this. The dual resonance is basically the base form. Fires a magic projectile at the frontmost enemy, costing 500 energy and dealing magic damage equal to 60% of team attack. This is quite unspectacular. We recover 100 energy, so this will trigger a base form every 5 seconds. But we have ways to modify that, with a rune card and a Valor card. Our rune cards are the cards that we have down below. We can only use the rarest one we have collected of those. If, for example, we decide to look at this card, this is our Epic Deep Infiltration. It increases the energy cost by 300, so we're not 800. And we recover an extra 150 energy per second when allied units remain on the enemy side of the battlefield for more than 3 seconds, essentially starting to supercharge our speed there. Also attack plus 90%, HP plus 90%. If we compare that to an elite card, we can see that is quite the difference. Also, every single rune card has a different effect, but definitely higher rarity also means a lot better. Compared to the lower rarity form of this, usually the energy cost is the difference. Lower rarity cards tend to add more energy cost to it. One of the cards that I really like, and even though we have our elite card here, which is a bit insane, attack plus 150%, is this one, Carolina's Embrace. Increases energy cost by 150, but freezes the hit target for 3 seconds. Let's try this. And now we have my team right here with our Dynel and Lily May, and that's just a very basic team that I built with my heroes. Maybe you have a copy of Sonya, maybe you can copy this. This worked quite often. Let's try this. So we see our dual resonance there on the side. It's leveling up pretty quickly. Our team didn't really invade the enemy side, so we are at a little bit of a problem there, really making use of our effect, which sadly led to us losing right here. But that's not a problem. Actually, there is no downside to losing. We just lost a little bit of time, but that doesn't mean that we had any disadvantage. We didn't lose any points in ranking or something. We can just go in again, and maybe this time we try our highest stat card, the Rainier card, which isn't a good one, by the way. It's a little bit horrible. And then we can go back in. And even if you have only very bad heroes or not enough heroes, at one point you can just try to attack multiple times and you will find yourself winning every so often. And now we won our first match, which is very nice. Pretty easy victory. And you can see it says restoring. So we can't use those two cards again. Today, my reset is in 5 hours. Every single day you can basically only use those two cards one time. If we now go in again, we can just show that we have to use different cards. But that's not really a problem. I noticed that if you have a decent team, even with the weaker cards, you can often score a win. So right now you see restoring, we can't select them again. We can select our other cards though. Maybe we try the Mirror L card. This one makes it increase our energy cost by 140, but alters the projectile so that they hit adjacent targets. So we have higher AoE basically. Let's try that. And the opponent also has cards. He uses the rune card Deep Infiltration and Burial Shadow, which will cast burial copies. So something quite fancy. We did lose our Dino, which is not very good. I'm a bit afraid we might lose that one. Maybe if we can get rid of the Walker. Okay. Good, we won. And those are already 2 wins on this very weak account, using heroes we don't even have maxed up. And so we already got a ton of new cards. Check this out. This is great. So, ton of new cards right there. And again, we got the Odie card twice. The Odie card is great. Check this out. And instantly defeats the hit target if the target's HP is lower than 20%. Increases instant defeat threshold by 10% each time the target's hit. So we basically get an Odie artifact, which I absolutely love. So, right now, let's check out our card collection again. and we see there are still quite some cards that we don't own yet. Once we collect all of them, we get the loot up here, and of course we also already collected some loot up there. You can see the last loot here is quite juicy, consisting of stellar crystals and title and even a cosmetic. This will also, by the way, this will use the chests that you have. We only have 2 chests at the moment. We have multiple cards that we still don't own. But you can work together with your friends. You see below card gifting. We already gifted to the one friend that is in this event. Sadly, the server is a little bit inactive. But we can wish for cards. For example, if I see that I don't own certain cards, then I will just select them in my card wish, and maybe a friend of mine dropped a duplicate of those and can then send them to me, so that my card collection progresses a bit more swiftly. And so, by just completing your daily quests and your special quests, you will always progress through this event fairly easily. And if you work together with your friends, even faster. Now let's take a few minutes and take a look at some teams and some combinations you can use for your deck duel. First of all, many of you might not even know how strong their account in this game mode really is. The game, you have the All Heroes Available event, which will eventually give you every single hero in the game to a certain extent at one point. All the heroes that are listed here you will get, so you will have a Skalita, you will have a Dianel if you're already through there. Maybe you are only partly progressed like I am, and you have only single heroes of those. We have many PvP videos on this channel already that you can use. Maybe you even got this copy of Harak. Copy of Harak means you now have Supreme Harak, which means you can use my Harak team I showed, which would be absolutely great. And other than that, there are certain teams that just always work. Dianel is a big hero to put on a team and will help you a ton to win all your matches, or most of your matches. I recently even got myself a Fresto, which is a pretty nice hero as well, so we could add this to the team and make it a little bit easier to win. Maybe we'll use him instead of Thorin this time, so there is my Supreme Fresto I now have on my, yeah, well, I would say noob account, and still, this is pretty insane. Maybe we want to do it like this. I think I like this. But we could also add a Tazi to the team, for example. And I just love that this account now has a super good hero selection. And then, of course, the selection of your dual resonance plays a role. As I already said, Vela card that I really like is the Carolina one, because it has the freeze. At the epic rarity, it increased the energy cost by 0 and freezes the target for 3 seconds. This is a very effective one. It has very low energy cost as it increases by 0. And then we can take a look. This increases the energy cost by 600, but instead of hitting only one magic projectile, or hitting only one enemy with a magic projectile, we hit 3. There's also the option to just drop them in a central tile in the most crowded area. So maybe if you can use an iron team, pull the enemies a bit together, you can freeze them with that. We will try this one, Power Overwhelming, to make it hit 3 enemies, and just try this team. Doesn't this team look already quite whaley? I love it. So let's see. We counter the iron with our Lily May. Let's see if we can get some nice freezes. And there we go. Look at the entire enemy team being frozen. That is definitely madness. And this will continue, by the way. This is not a one-time thing. Sadly, this looks not as great. Ah, okay. We still couldn't make the win, which is a bit unfortunate. But yeah, we were fighting against a 6-star Lily May, which is a bit sad. If your enemy is a whale and has like Paragon units, this will still be a thing, sadly. They will not be set down. This is like a minimum that they will have a Supreme Plus. So, maybe we just try again for the end of this video. I want to end this on a win. But this is how you basically get all your stuff going. I will make another video maybe if I find some insane combinations. I have to say, most of the time I could get my wins with nearly all the artifacts available, with all the combinations that I had in there. So it was never really a thing that I really had to think about it in that sense. I tried some different combinations. I like this one. This usually worked quite well because it CCs a ton of enemies. The monster transformation one seemed a little bit weak. There is one that basically spawns an egg. We can go over them a second maybe. Let's do double speed again. Yeah, and this time it worked very well. We can go over them again. Give me a second. Let's go out of their card collection. We'll go over the rarity. Yeah, so basically those are the ones that really give you the effect. Those only select the way your projectile gets targets or your energy recharges. Those are the effects that you really get. This one, the Rainier one, pulls an enemy to your side. It is really weak in that sense, because it doesn't really do a whole lot other than pulling an enemy to your side of the battle. The Mirror L one is AoE. I mean, I don't hate it. The thing is, this base projectile doesn't really do a ton of damage, so giving it AoE with Mirror on this side isn't really too insane. This monster one should be insane, but it increases the energy cost so much that it didn't really work for me that well. This one was great because it has low energy cost and freezes the target. The OD one works well. Not too much energy cost, and you really get the OD effect, so that is pretty cool. And if you add like multi-targeting or like the AoE stuff to it, which we just used this one for example, or this one, then you can really make this work. And usually you can find those combinations quite easily by yourself. Like effects like this, you obviously want to have multiple heroes. Sometimes the burial one, I have to say, the shadows were pretty weak, didn't really do a whole lot. Haste absorption, this works well. Wasn't a super effective one, but I always, when I used it, it worked decently well. Got me some wins. This one was entirely useless. You get an egg. It is supposed to spawn a minion. It spawns at one point, and the minions I got just got one shot. Later on, there may be some stronger ones, but the ones that I got now got one shot. So sadly, not really a very cool one, but now you have an idea of all those minions. I hope that helped you. If you have some more questions, definitely ask them down below. And other than that, I wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.